welcome to the MDVA Movie Club. I am Matt.
I'm Dan.
Kayla.
Wyatt.
Seth.
Hey, and we've got a full house here again, 2 weeks in a row, and this time we've got a full house the entire episode, and that's something. How is everybody doing? How's everybody's week been?
Good stuff.
It's great, man.
Yeah?
Couldn't be better.
I sense some exaggeration. If we're going that route, then I could definitely say I've been amazing. Or I could tell the truth and say that I've been diagnosed with COVID-19, which is the God's honest truth. But today is this evening, I should say, not today. This evening is the best I've felt in the 3 days that I've had it. So that's something. And I could not miss, I've almost turned the reins over to Dan and Kayla, but I couldn't miss out on this opportunity to talk about Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior. So we're going to dive into that here very soon, but I don't know if anyone watched anything else over the week, but I watched a couple things. I watched Shang-Chi, the new Marvel movie in the theaters. I also watched Worth, the Michael Keaton Netflix drama about 9/11. Both of those were really good. One was far better than the other, that, of course, being Shang-Chi. Has anyone else seen Shang-Chi?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Wyatt, you have not, correct?
Nope.
All right, so we're not going to spoil it for Wyatt because it is something you should go out of your way to see. It's amazing.
I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. I could watch multiple sequels of that. Give me that universe, that Shang-Chi universe, not the Marvel universe, but give me the Shang-Chi universe. You all right there?
Yeah. Sorry.
Give me all of that. Guys, without spoiling, what did you guys think of Shang-Chi?
I liked the Asian representation in it. Personally, you don't get that a lot. So very close to the heart for me. So I liked seeing a first Asian superhero on the screen. So it's good for me.
Man, for me, it was a character I really didn't know a lot about in the comic books, and I honestly didn't go in with any kind of expectation. And I tell you what, without spoiling anything again, the main character kicked some serious butt. So definitely looking forward to what they have to bring to the Marvel universe moving forward.
Yeah, definitely. Seth, what about you?
I like the fight scenes.
Okay. There you have it. Yeah, it was definitely. I don't know if this counts as the show's first 10 because this is not technically what we're reviewing, but I give it a 10 out of 10, which we've not given on this show before. And again, we're not technically talking about Shang-Chi today, but I give it a 10 out of 10. It's that good.
Seth, what do you give it?
Yeah, Seth, what do you give it?
8 out of 10.
Okay.
8 out of 10?
Fair enough.
Yeah, I was sitting at a 9.5 out of 10.
I think Kayla and I are both at 10, right?
Yeah, I'm at a 10.
Yeah. I might be giving my first 10 out of 10 later on. Who knows?
Oh boy. Before we get to that, did anyone else watch anything besides Shang-Chi?
I sure did. I was in a little Mad Max binge, so I just figured I'd continue with Mad Max 3 Beyond Thunderdome.
How did that treat you?
That one? Oh, it was wonderful. And then I watched Multiplicity, which I know Matt will be a big fan of. Fantastic movie. Had a real great time with that one.
We will get Kayla to watch that too later on down the road.
That's another working man, Michael Keaton. You would love him.
Yeah. Now that I know that she enjoyed Mr. Mom, I think you'll definitely enjoy Multiplicity as well.
Cool. Did we watch anything?
I think that was it.
How about you, Wyatt? You see anything?
I watched Freaky.
Oh,
That's awesome. I love that movie.
the Vince Vaughn thing.
Yeah.
How was that?
It's awesome.
It wasn't too bad. It was pretty cool.
Yeah,
Then again,
I haven't seen it, but
I'm
I
kind
heard
of
it was,
biased. I really like Vince Vaughn.
yeah, he's pretty cool. I haven't seen it, but I heard it was really good.
It's
Hey,
definitely
what?
like
You seen Dragged Across Concrete?
what?
Dragged Across Concrete?
No.
That's another Vince Vaughn, Mel Gibson one that's fantastic. Matt loves that movie.
I'm gonna check it out.
Stay clear of that one, Wyatt.
It's great. It's great.
I don't know. Seth, I'm
This
very
coming
iffy
from-
on your opinions
This
now.
coming from the guy
I
who
don't-
recommended Mad Max. Come on.
This is coming from the guy who recommended the Tomorrow War.
I am so sorry.
I was going to say, I didn't recommend the Tomorrow War. I wouldn't do such things. I try to pick things people will enjoy. But anyway, I did start the James Bond movies. Every time that there's a new Bond film about to come out, I go through and watch them all. I've done this a number of years. Every time there's a new one, which thankfully one doesn't come out every year because that would get very tiring because there's like 20 plus of them. But I'm on number 3 so far. So we'll see if I actually make it all the way through. I did last time before Spectre, I think was the last one. But I'm a big Bond nerd. So anytime a new one comes out, I have to sit down, and even though none have to do with any of the others, I just like watching them all. So I'm in the mood for when the next one comes.
Wait, is James Bond like 007?
Yes.
Correct. Very good, sir.
Isn't there one called Octopussy?
Yes.
Very good, sir.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't know why
I'm
it's
not big into
this week.
James Bond.
They got to be something you're in the mood for, and you got to kind of put yourself in that mind frame, because it's not just going to be like mindless action. It's going to have a story. It's going to have a plot. It's going to have science behind it. You kind of got to follow it and not just watch it and not know what the F is going on.
Yeah, that's like that reminds me of something, but
Yeah.
we'll probably talk about it later.
Yeah, I think we'll get there here momentarily. Seth, you got the news for us today?
Sure do. So it's actually a busier news week than last week, thankfully. We have Ghostbusters Afterlife was delayed until November 19th, which is a shame because I'm dying to see that.
Yeah.
When was it supposed to? You
I-
know I'm going to
I
interrupt you
forget.
after every.
It's been so many different dates. I don't even know anymore.
Okay.
And then Paramount, they pushed their entire slate back to 2022. So that's like the Top Gun sequel, Mission Impossible 7, like all these really big, awesome movies. They just push them back to next year, if we're lucky. So,
I mean, that sounds like a really far ways away, but I guess in reality, we're almost halfway through September already. So that's really not that far.
Considering that I believe a couple of them were supposed to be out in 2019.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yes. Jungle Cruise is officially getting a sequel. The Rock announced it the other day. So it's happening. I think everyone kind of already expected it, but it's official.
Is he breaking up real bad on everyone else's end? Okay. I just want to make sure it wasn't me.
Where did I leave off at?
No, we heard it. Jungle Cruise is getting
hear
a
it.
sequel. It's just very choppy.
Okay.
But you're good right now.
The Accountant 2, that Ben Affleck and John Bernthal movie is cool. So
Are you saying The Accountant is getting a sequel? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
With Ben Affleck?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
I love that movie. So
Yeah, that's a good movie.
That is a good movie.
I love just staying out of the news for a week and being surprised by what Seth brings me. Like, this is exciting.
Venom 2 is actually pushed up to October 1st now. So just a mere few weeks away, hopefully.
Finally.
Yeah.
Right?
Until they push it back next week.
Yeah.
And then finally, some sad news. Michael K. Williams died. Not exactly sure who he was, but it was pretty big to the movie industry, so I felt obligated to report on it. So
Yeah.
rest in peace, sir.
Michael K. Williams was in The Wire and 12 Years a Slave and Lovecraft Country on HBO. I honestly, I had to do a like who when I read, but after looking him up, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Sad loss. We never like to see anyone ever. I was going to say anyone in the industry, but anyone go. Why do you look?
The voice of the old man from Up died too.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Ed Asner. Yeah.
Way to go, Seth. You didn't even report that.
Oh well.
Yeah, Ed Asner also passed away. He was, of course, he was a acting legend many years, but this generation knows him as the old guy from Up.
Oh, and I don't know if it's really movie news. It's kind of TV news. Did you see the thing for the live action Rick and Morty?
I did.
Oh yeah.
Casting Doc.
Wasn't it just it's just a clip though, right? I don't think they're doing anything with it other than just
they're doing a whole episode.
Oh, are they doing an entire episode?
What?
It's so you guys need to look at this because it's Christopher Lloyd playing
Rick.
I'm not as familiar with Rick and Morty to know which one's Rick and which one's Morty.
Rick.
But Christopher Lloyd's playing the one that you would figure Christopher Lloyd to play.
Yeah.
And the kid from It, the main kid with the stutter, I don't know his name, but he's the other one. And I didn't know they were doing an entire episode like that, which that's exciting. I thought it was just like a short little clip, like just a fun little, hey. But if they're doing an entire episode, that's awesome.
It's kind of funny because the characters Rick and Morty are based off Doc and
Marty.
your guy, Michael J. Fox, Marty McFly. So that's kind of cool they got him for that.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I've watched Rick and Morty. I enjoy what I saw. It's not something I really know that well. But I would watch a live action. If you give me a live action with those two actors, I like that kid and I like Christopher Lloyd, so I would watch that.
You know, the kid's actually getting a lot of hate.
Why?
I don't know. Everybody keeps saying they're like, yo, change Morty.
He's
like,
really good though. I mean,
what I'm saying.
I mean, he was in It. He was in that horror movie, The Lodge. He's done a lot of things that I've seen him in. But I didn't have a problem with him. I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's like, I think he's good.
But all right, Seth, is that it?
That's it.
All right, give it up for Seth. Everybody brought us some news. Another week. Did anyone, I probably should have asked before we hit record, did anyone get stats on this?
Yep.
Good old Dan coming in clutch.
Yeah, man. So let's go back. The release date for this was the 24th December 1981. It was an Australian shot film, which I'm sure Seth was all over. Now, one thing about this movie, just to give a little bit of backstory, so it did win several awards. It was the highest grossing Australian film worldwide, won the Best International Film from 6 nominations at the Saturn Awards ceremony, including Best Director, Best Actor for Gibson, Best Supporting Actor for Bruce Spence, Best Writing for Miller, Hayes, and Hennett, and Best Costume for Norma, which last name I'm not even going to try to butcher there. It is a huge cult film with fan clubs, Road Warrior themed activities continuing in the 21st century. So, Seth, there are other like-minded individuals out there you might be able to link up with. So that's pretty
All over it.
exciting.
What you were.
Yeah, man. So it's actually hailed as one of the greatest action movies of all time, as well as one of the greatest sequels ever made. Of course, this film was preceded by Mad Max in 1979 and followed by Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome in 1985 and Mad Max Fury Road 2015. This movie, its predecessor, I believe the budget was around $300,000.
$600.
Whereas this budget was $4.5 million, so definitely got a lot of traction from that. Box office ended up bringing $36 million in for its theatrical release in the U.S. Running time's about 96 minutes, and so some pretty interesting facts going on with Mad Max.
Okay, are we ready to do this?
Born ready.
The Road Warrior, Mad Max 2. Seth picked, so of course Seth gets to start us off. Probably for the best. Seth, tell us about Mad Max 2.
So, just thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I had been wanting to watch it again for a while. I knew my pick was coming up, so I just figured I'd wait for that. And sat down to watch it, and just intro, the V8 Interceptor opens up, and I get all excited, and just the opening chase is just really awesome to me, and kicks off the movie great. And I sitting there and just love the movie all throughout, and I just get so excited watching it. And as Matt knows, because I will endlessly talk about Mad Max, but I'm in a Mad Max kick, and I've been talking nothing but Mad Max with him for like a week, pretty much. More of a one-sided conversation, but it's how it is. Now all I can really say is just like Dan said, one of the best action movies of all time, if not my personal favorite action movie. And I'd rate it probably 9 out of 10.
Okay. Seth, remind me to send you a new router.
Christmas is coming up.
What do you have, Chantel? Who do you have?
I don't know.
You don't know who your next writer is? Okay. All right. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. So, with Mad Max 2, I'm going to say, again, I saw the original a long time ago. I really didn't remember too much about it. Went into Mad Max 2 really not knowing what to expect. I will say, like, the first part of the movie, I know this is touted as an action film, but there was not really a lot going on, like the first half. And one thing I'm surprised of was just there really wasn't a lot of dialogue, which apparently won it a lot of awards. And for what we were talking about prior to the reviews, I think it said that Mel Gibson had a total of like 16 lines in the entire film, and there was only, I believe, like 60 some lines in the entire film. So I will say that for its time, special effects I thought were actually well done. I think that they did a lot. Like I'm with you. Like the cars, the trucks that you see in the scenery, definitely things you'd find around the 80s. They did a lot with that. It's kind of an interesting premise, talking about post-apocalypse, that we're like, okay, we have to get the gas. We have to, that's the way our society is going to run. So, in my thinking, it really doesn't have, like, to movies that I like to have a little bit of a plot, a build up, character development. So I personally didn't put this at the top of my list for action films, but I will at least. I wouldn't say that I'd never watch it. I think that if I had just watched the last 30 minutes of this film, like, I would have been happier with it overall, if that makes any sense. Because I think that's where most of the action was, and I think they did a good job filming chase scenes. I think, again, like, it's kind of cool to see things going on in the desert. But for me, overall, as far as a rating, I'd probably put this at about 5.5 out of 10 for me. I'm not saying that's terrible. It's just not the kind of movie that I'm all about. But I can see why somebody would be.
Okay. Kayla and Wyatt, do you mind if I jump in just because I feel like you guys might be a little bit more lenient, whereas I'm just gonna bash it. So maybe if I bash
Matt,
it now,
I'm right there with you.
so if I bash it now, then maybe it won't end as badly. So I'm gonna jump in here. This movie, and I say this with love, Seth, but I will fight you on this, is a heaping pile of garbage. There is very little, and when I say very little, I mean two things that are redeeming about this movie. And that is the fact that Dan brought up, there was hardly any dialogue. And that actually impressed me, whereas that would maybe turn some people off. And it was kind of a turnoff. in that because there's no dialogue, there's no like real plot, there's no like real story going on. It's just nonsense, and I don't like nonsense, and it just wasn't working for me. But in the same aspect, I was impressed that it was basically you were watching like this score, the entire movie, music playing, and just stuff happening, and very little talking. So I was impressed that they were able to do a whole movie like that. The other thing that I think it had going for it is the little boy. I enjoyed the little boy, which sounds dirtier than I mean it. But I enjoyed his character. I thought there's potential there. As far as the rest of the movie goes, like I said, it was nonsense. I watched all 3 of the original Mad Max movies at the quest at the quest of, is that the word I'm looking for? Request. Sorry, I have COVID. at the request of Seth, probably about a year ago, and I watched all 3 of them. Out of the 3, I enjoyed the first one the most, and I'd probably give the first one. I know we're not rating these, but I'd probably give the first one a 5 out of 10. This one, I'd probably give. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 10. It was just, it's, when I say it's nonsense and meaningless, and garbage, that's what it is. It's nothing happening for 90 minutes, and at the same time everything happening for 90 minutes, and you don't really know what's going on, and that doesn't work for me. So I'm going to cough now. I'm going to mute myself. Wyatt or Caleb, feel free to step in.
You can go.
Do you want to go?
No, hope so.
I hated it.
Tell us how you really feel.
I could not stand it. Now, I watched the newest Mad Max, Fury Road, the one with that Nick guy.
Nick?
The actor that played the zombie in Warm Bodies.
Oh, Nicholas Holt.
Yes. I watched whatever that one is. And it was okay. But I couldn't. I'm not even gonna lie. I fell asleep. The first half was okay. It was okay. I did not like, I guess you would say, the villain, the bad antagonist guy.
Lord Humongous? How do you not like
Yes.
Lord Humongous, dude?
Dude, he's like a Dollar General version of Bane. I could not. I just couldn't get through it. Like, it's one of those movies I would put on for background noise. Like, I mean, it was cool. There were some cool things about it. Some of the, action, I guess you would say, was pretty cool. But it bored me. I guess because, like, I'm not a fan of those movies or anything that really has to do, like, it doesn't necessarily do with, like, all about cars, but, like, I did not like it. So, and I'm kind of...
Wyatt, how are you on Fast and the Furious?
I've never watched a single one.
Okay. I was just curious because they're also about cars, but actually have, I can't believe I'm saying this, actually have more of a plot than this movie had.
Well, like, not that we're talking about those movies, but I wanted to give those movies a shot. And then I think around the time I wanted to give it a shot, I think it was Fast 8 was coming out. And, like, I just kept seeing all this unrealistic, like, cars jumping, and
do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor. Watch 1, 2, and 3, and if you're feeling froggy, 4. But
I heard Tokyo Drift was the best.
Tokyo Drift is by far my favorite,
and it has a really cool song.
Yeah. Check
But,
those out, but avoid the rest. Anyway, back to Mad Max.
Yeah, no, y'all gave me crap for the Tomorrow War.
Oh yeah, I would totally watch the Tomorrow War again.
Seth, I am so sorry, but I don't want to hear anything else about the Tomorrow War. I'll admit the Tomorrow War was long, but this movie I genuinely thought would never end, and it was shorter than the war movie, whatever it's called.
The Tomorrow War?
Yeah, there we go. I'm flustered. I'm right there with Matt. I'm giving it a 2, maybe even a 1.5. It is one of those ones that I will probably never watch again. And Seth, I am so sorry.
Just for clarification reasons, because we throw the scores up at the end of the video. So are you giving it a 2 or a 1 or 1.5 or whatever you said?
I'm gonna go 1.5.
Okay. Dang. Miss Kayla.
All right. So I did take some notes on this one too. All right. So let's see. Okay. So usually when Dan and I watch movies, and if it's a movie that we don't really like, we watch part of it one day and part of it another day. So this was one of those movies that we started actually last week after we finished this last episode, that night, and then we had to finish it the next day. Anyway, yeah, so for me, it really begs the question of, and you said like there was like no action in the beginning. For me, it just begs the question of like, where do we draw the line of like too much action? And Seth, that's your whole thing.
There's no such thing.
See, that's your whole thing is it's so action-packed. And for me, I feel like you're being thrown into this movie, and especially the lack of dialogue, you're like getting lost in it. And I'm sitting there like, what in the world is going on? But I guess if maybe I watched the first one, I would have a little context and understand that Max lost his family.
They're like, yeah.
I know. Max lost his family, I assume, right? His wife and son or something got killed.
Yeah, the
right?
context, not to cut you off, but the context that this movie gives you in the beginning is the most context you get out of the first one.
Okay. Well, see, I don't know. I just thought maybe it would help me try to, like, get along, like, just, like, help the movie progress. So, like Dan said, the last 20 minutes of the film for me was the best part. I thought the part where they were going down the highway with that big trucker, and them just battling it out, like, that part was great. I thought that was a great sequence, and especially for it being the early 80s, all the props, all the manpower, everything they put into that scene, I think could have just been the film itself. And I'm sure for a lot of people, that is what sealed that movie for them. And why it won so many awards is personally what I think, because that part was good. There's a few little things I want to throw in. I did like the little kid too. He was my favorite part. When he threw that metal boomerang at that lady's head, that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. I was like, yeah, you go. And then he started tunneling through the ground.
Lady, by the way. That was a
Yeah,
guy.
it was a guy.
Oh my God, it was a guy. Dan said that.
said
and I was
that,
like, it
and
was
no one
totally
believed me.
a lady.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Because
Anyway,
I pay attention, so.
I was convinced it was a lady. That was crazy. That was a...
Nope.
I
The
thought maybe it was
front of his shirt was gone.
I thought it was like maybe like a rough lady, but I was like, okay, it's apocalyptic, okay.
Boy toy. He's a boy
But
toy.
anyway,
That's what he was.
He started tunneling through the ground, and I was like, dude, that is Donnie from the Wild Thornberrys.
Oh, God.
I was like, that is where they got that character from. Are you guys familiar with the Wild Thornberrys? Seth!
How are you not, Seth?
Anyway, so you might like it because of that kid. Anyway, too.
No, I'm not watching anything y'all recommend.
No, listen, because I'm trying to be decent with this. Let me see my notes real quick too. If I have anything else, okay. So I said that. Okay. Another thing is this was completely filmed in Australia, so it's an Australian apocalyptic kind of thing, right? So here are my little like grievances with it. First of all, there's kangaroos in Australia, okay? There's harpoon snails in Australia. You've got all these guerrilla warfare that you could be using to hurt each other instead of just like shooting boomerangs and stuff. I mean, I get it, it's like a boomerang. Okay, that was one of my. And also, you're in the middle of the desert. Well, not really desert, but like Australia. I don't want to say
Outback.
the outback, yes, in chaps,
Wasteland.
in chaps, and your butt cheeks are hanging out. Can I say that right? But you don't have
Yeah.
sunburn on your butt cheeks. That's just crazy to me. Like it's like the apocalypse and they're just running around. They've got like this bondage stuff on and I'm like it didn't make sense to me. But anyway, the last 20 minutes I really enjoyed it. I could definitely see the appeal of Mel Gibson and how he became a rising star from this movie. I definitely see the appeal. I really do because I was, and of course this is gonna like correlate to my last Mr. Mom thing, and people are gonna be like, "Oh my God, it's just being superficial again." But anyway, I could see why he became a rising star like he did, why he's a huge star, even with the little dialogue that he did do. I'm gonna go with Dan. I'm gonna be a little. I'm gonna give it a higher score than I think it deserves. Just because I think for it being an 80s film that and all the things that they did, it deserves at least a 5 out of 10. And I think
What did
that's
Dan give it?
being more than
I think I ended up at a 5.5.
okay.
Oh, okay.
And just
So.
with it, I mean, you gotta look at the time. Like again, 1980s when this was coming out. And again, I'm not trying to jump in and be like, yeah, I think they should save the film, but I mean, it was provocative. It was different. It was testing boundaries. Again, when it won costume design for a
Yeah.
reason. And
Yeah.
like looking at that today, like yeah, it's crazy, but back then, it's different.
Yeah.
And it's like a whole mindset, and like it's building itself a little culture in that movie, and it's like, all right, so this is just one person's view of what the apocalypse would look like. And I think that again, I could see, and like I said in my review, I could see why you'd want, or why some people get behind this and like, look,
Right.
I love this movie. It's a cult classic. We're sitting here giving it mid ratings. Seth's rating it the highest,
Not
but
a
there's
cult classic.
a whole bunch. Yes.
No, it's not a cult classic. Cult classic is where it was released at a time and it was not popular, but it later gained huge popularity. That's a cult classic. This was a huge film. It made $100 million. That doesn't classify as a cult classic.
I don't know. Just in the end, it's regarded as still one of the best action movies of all time.
Oh, I
and you
mean,
have to give it at least some kind of credit for that.
yeah, I mean, it created a whole entire world. I'm sure it was kind of like, and I'm not comparing it, but it created a world where people could, live through it, vicariously through it, kind of like Star Wars. So I'm sure it was, it captured people's minds, especially in that time. Like Dan said, 1981, for what they did in 1981, that absolutely blows my mind. That trucker scene, I mean, that big tanker thing, that part was crazy. Oh yeah, and the little flying bike, the dude on the flying bike.
The
Oh yeah,
gyro.
he was
yeah.
cool as heck.
Gyrocopter.
He was my favorite part. Yeah, he was cool, and he just like saves the days, like casually, just like flying over.
Just out of curiosity, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna go to Seth because he's the resident expert on Mad Max. But with the little boy, like we know he grows up, he becomes the narrator of Mad Max 2 at least. Like, did he have further involvement in any of the other films, or they just kind of like cut him at the end of the film?
So it's weird. So George Miller, who's the director, he does not like making any like exact rules for the franchise. So a massive, slightly confirmed, slightly not confirmed rumor is that Tom Hardy's character in Road is actually the feral kid, which I personally believe. I have to believe that there's an old grizzled Mel Gibson Max out there in the wasteland somewhere that we might get to see one day. But so in headcanon, Tom Hardy is the feral kid in Fury Road, but it's not confirmed or denied or anything. It's just believe what you want to believe.
Gotcha. Cool.
So, Seth, we crapped all over your movie. Would you like to rebuttal and respond to anybody, or?
Yes, I would absolutely love to.
Okay.
The point of there being no story doesn't make much sense to me because the story's really laid out right there for you, plain as day. You know, this civilization has gasoline. They're protecting it from Lord Humongous's gang, and Max comes along and he ends up helping them to get the gasoline out and save the village pretty much. It's a pretty simple story, a very effective story. It's a timeless tale. So
Can I a timeless tale? Can I just say, your description of it right there gave me more info of what that movie's about than me watching it twice did.
that's because you didn't pay attention, clearly.
I totally paid attention both times, more so this time because I was trying to like it more for you, but it just wasn't happening.
Well, if you all want to have a more story-centered action movie, the first one is phenomenal. Like, it's just it's really, really good, and the story is really tragic. And although you don't have to watch the first one to understand the second or third or even Fury Road, because the second one gives you the little beginning piece. Just the story in the first one is really good, and I don't know if you all want to check that one out.
I'll give you the first one has a better story, but saying it's phenomenal is you're stretching it there, bud. It's more the same, but with a little bit more story. Just a slight less nonsense, slight less. Any final words from anybody on Road Warrior Mad Max 2?
You know what? I bumped my score up to a 2.
See, winning them over already.
Only because I really like the name Lord Huge.
Humongous.
Humongous. Shit. Wasn't, you know what?
Nope, you said 2. We'll stick
No,
with 2.
no. I'm keeping 2. I will give it the benefit of the doubt. It was like Dan and them saying, for its time, it's pretty cool. Like when you think of it from their aspects and stuff. For me, I just could not stand it.
He didn't like Mr. Mom, and I think we all liked that last week. So, I mean, did we really expect him to like this?
I'm so sorry.
Why even get an opinion anymore after all the hardship he's put us through?
I'm so sorry.
Wait, does who get an opinion anymore? What'd you say?
What? I mean, he showed us the Tomorrow War. We thought he redeemed himself with the Suicide Squad, and then we watched Mr. Mom, and he hates it. So
I didn't hate Mr. Mom. It was
reviewed the footage.
Yeah,
play it
go to the
back.
tape.
It was okay. It's just it was just one of those movies I just wouldn't. It was a one-time watch for me. That's how I feel about. Like, now don't get me wrong. You know, me and Matt both love that guy, but I forgot his name.
Michael Keaton.
Oh
There we go.
You are a
God,
mess
I am
today.
so forgetful tonight.
Sloppy.
What were you
Or
smoking
huge
earlier,
over there.
Roro?
Guys, it has been a long day. I am so sorry. But I don't know. Mr. Mom one-time watch. Maybe I'll watch it again. Mad Max 2, I'll never watch again. And Seth, I am so sorry.
I don't accept.
Well, that wraps it up. I'm impressed that we didn't argue. I thought for sure Seth was going to butt in and say something that I would have to respond back to, and we were going to get fighting. But we've not had any arguments here on the show like I thought we were going to. So far, so good. Seth, I'm sorry that everybody crapped on your movie. I know if it were me and people were crapping on my movie like that, I would be hurt. I hope that
I'm just
one day
pissed.
doesn't
Come on,
happen.
I'm not hurt. Just pissed off.
I hope that doesn't happen. But it's bound to. I mean, Wyatt had a stinker. You had a stinker. I'm sure at some point we're all going to have a movie that the others don't like. Except me, because I know how to pick them. I'm the movie guy, right? But no, I'm kidding. All right, everybody. That does it for Mad Max 2.
Oh,
What's happening? Yes, Wyatt.
Wait, are we ending it?
We're about to. I'm about to wrap up. Why?
Oh, we didn't pick next week's movie.
I'm getting there.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Matt.
Let me go through
Mad
my
Max
spiel.
3.
I was like, whoa, what are you doing?
He's been gone for so long, he doesn't know the routine.
I'm so sorry.
So this is only his third episode, boys and girls. So give him a break. All right, we are coming to a close. But before we do, we have to talk about what we're watching next week. It's time to go the rotation one more time, and we are back to Mr. Wyatt's turn to pick. Did you not know it was your turn?
I did not know it was my turn.
Oh boy, are you prepared?
Yeah, I got one.
Because if not, we can do the fan pick. But if you got one, we'll give it to you.
I got you.
Okay, so yes, Mr. Wyatt, it is your turn to pick next week's talked about movie. Drum roll, please.
Room 1408.
I think it's just called 1408, right?
1408, yeah.
Yeah, I knew exactly what you meant.
Mm.
Okay. Who has not seen this? Anyone? Seth? That'll be interesting. Dan and Kayla, you guys have seen it, right? Okay. That's a decent pick, Wyatt. I'll give you that.
Right on. Wait, has Seth not seen it?
Seth said he hasn't seen it.
Oh, right on.
I might not watch it. I don't know.
Seth's gonna give it a negative score, man.
I'm just gonna bog that score down.
I don't know where we can tell people and Seth to watch it.
They can run it off YouTube?
I was going to say it doesn't look like it's streaming free anyway. So 1408 is the next week pick. I was not expecting that, but you know what? It kind of gets us in the mood for what's coming up.
Yeah.
Halloween, October. I don't know about everyone else, but I like to celebrate all month long. I would even be celebrating now. It's hard for me not to, but I know if I watch everything now that I want to watch, I won't have anything to watch later. And I don't like watching things back to back that close. So trying to hold off as long as I can before I start the scary movies. But 1408 is a good one. I think that's it, everybody. Like, comment, subscribe.
Watch Mad Max 2.
Don't watch Mad Max 2.
Stay far away from it.
Follow us on Instagram at MDVA Movie Club. Send us a message. Become a club member. We'd love to have you on the panel here every week, or at least, if not every week, every other week, or whenever you can join us. Let us know what you want to watch. We'd love to have more suggestions. We do have the suggestion of The Godfather, which is coming up the week after. We'll talk about 1408, and then we'll talk about The Godfather, which is a fan pick. And then we'll hopefully get to do more of those as people recommend them. I think that's it. I got nothing. Of course, we can't do this without everybody in the room. Wyatt, Seth, Dan, Kayla, thank you so much for joining us. Guys, everybody have a great week. Watch 1408. I think we determined that it's not really streaming anywhere, at least for free. So you'll have to either rent on like Amazon Prime or Vudu or one of those streaming things, or however you can get your hands on it. But it's an old enough movie. If you haven't seen it by now, then what are you doing? All right, guys. Love one another. Everyone have a great week.
Bye.